Sorry if I'm a little hyper. I've just been listening to some music to get me. Well, anyways, if you're wondering what happened at the end of the last review, I had a little incident of diarrhea, so sorry if my ending result for Power Ponies was kind of rushed, but it still doesn't change my opinion of the episode. But instead of talking about that episode, let's move on to the next one, aka Bats. Not the most original title, but roll the footage. So the episode basically starts at sunrise in Sweet Apple Acres as Applejack is waiting on the sun. And then we get some enjoyment of raining apples that are turned to mush.
What the heck is going on? They're back!
Yeah, that's probably what I need to know. Also, I found out from the mysterious Mr. Enter, apparently I saw the MLP's Italian opening, and I'm more impressed in the scene that we got here, but that's just me. Anyway, back to the episode. So Applejack basically calls Spike in the main six on the major situation, and we find out what's going on.
But I thought the fruit bats usually stayed put in the West Orchard.
Yeah, so apparently what I skipped over is that they're actually a different breed of fruit bats, simply called vampire fruit bats.
The fruit bats, dude. But these aren't just your everyday, ordinary fruit bats. They're vampire fruit bats.
Okay, I guess I maybe should have waited. But you get the idea. So apparently there's a second breed of fruit bats, and that these are vampire fruit bats. And if you're familiar with what vampires are, then you already know what these vampire fruit bats are.
I'll be darned if they think they're gonna sink their fangs into my blue ribbon apples. This here's our entry into the Appaloosa State Fair's produce competition. You know how much TLC goes into getting an apple to grow like this?
Applejack, when you go big, you really go big.
Them vampire bats want to shrivel it up like a raisin.
How do you know that if you just found that out like a few minutes ago? So, the logical conclusion to try to deal with the fruit bats peacefully, they send Fluttershy to try to reason with them, but that doesn't go anywhere.
You wouldn't mind leaving that really big apple alone?
But that doesn't go anywhere. And apparently vampire fruit bats can use apple seeds as bullets.
Well, what do you think?
Yes. Huh? But it could have been a no.
You really think that shooting seeds at you was a guess?
This is the first vampire fruit bat I've ever met, and, well, it might take some time for me to really understand their language.
Uh-huh. And in the meantime, this pest and his vermin friends are gonna go after my prized apple. And while they're at it, every other apple in the orchard.
I was about to bring that up, but thanks, AJ. So, the logical conclusion, and AJ decides to call the fruit bats monsters, and Fluttershy tries to defend them as we get our second song of the season, Bats. Which is actually pretty much a good song, and I dare to say it's pretty atmospheric. Usually, what I do whenever I listen to this song, I listen to it once, and if you're familiar with Crimson Rain from Mad World, you know, the song that plays before you fight Elise. Wow, too bad. Well, anyways, I usually mute this song and play Crimson Rain in the background, but if you're familiar with my Call of Duty review, I'm not going to risk trying to get a copyright strike, but, again, the song on its own is pretty good.
Vampire bats will give you a fright. Eating apples don't stay in night. They rest for a minute, maybe 3, then they're eating every apple in your apple tree.
Yeah, I really like the orchestrating in this song as well as the lyrics.
Care about nada, not zilch, no nothing. Except bringing about an orchard destruction.
Now wait just a minute. There's a...
So, as you can probably tell from this episode, this is basically the reasoning side, where Applejack wants to get rid of the bats forcefully, but Fluttershy tries to defend them.
Give me a break, you're being too candy. Creatures have a one-track mind. orchard is not their restaurant, but do they ever think what others may want?
Okay, maybe I should point out that not every single lyric hits bullseyes. But I guess from AJ's point of view, the other members of the main six are convinced.
It's just one
And they team up on Fluttershy. I gotta admit, this part actually kind of gave me goosebumps, to be honest.
I'm
So-
sorry, Fluttershy, but I believe Applejack has made the better argument. These vampire fruit bats sound downright dreadful.
So let's get to rounding them up so that they don't destroy the rest of my orchard.
Fruit bat roundup, fruit bat roundup!
Clever callback to Winter Roundup. So, trying to make another argument against Applejack, Fluttershy wants to try to make, like, a shrine for the vampire fruit bats, and Applejack takes it well.
What if instead of rounding them up, we let them have part of the orchard?
Have you lost your pet-loving mind?
So, yeah. So I guess some of you may not like AJ in this episode because of the way that she talks back to Fluttershy. Then again, I don't recall AJ and Fluttershy having an episode where they interact off each other, so this one's probably a first. Maybe we'll probably get another one in Season 5. But who knows. So again, AJ doesn't take it well.
Because they're hungry. If we built a sanctuary for them, they could have their own apples to enjoy.
Oh, a sanctuary. Sorry, I haven't seen this episode in a while, so I guess it's kind of my fault.
After a while, they can even help the rest of your orchard. The vampire bats don't need to see.
But it doesn't matter. AJ still convinces the others to basically...
What about the cider? There was still cider, right? Not a drop. No cider? No cider!
Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention, Rainbow Dash also gets an obsession with cider, and basically this has been showing up since Super Speedy. And for those of you who have noticed this from this episode, everybody now made the official interpretation that cider is basically MLP's version of beer. Let that sink in for a while.
We need to round up these monsters and we need to do it now!
For your own selfish needs, Rainbow. So they head to Twilight's library to find I guess, a reverse spell.
Fruit bats to stop wanting to suck the juice from the apples. But in order for the spell to work, I need the bat's full and complete attention. Oh no. Fluttershy, I need you to do your stare on the bat.
Well, that was inevitable.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
What's the problem? You've used the stare plenty of times before.
And besides, you used the stare on Discord to make him strangle himself for 5 seconds. Even if he was playing.
It's not something I take lightly.
Again, you've used the stare to cause Discord to strangle himself and keep calm and flutter on.
I've made a vow not to use it except in dire circumstances.
This circumstance is plenty dire to me.
I don't even know what to say about both Rainbow and AJ's behavior.
Me too. Think of the cider. Oh, somebody please think of the cider.
Again, MLP's version of fear, and I'm surprised Twilight hasn't gave Rainbow Dash some help to dealing with this.
I'm sorry. I just don't like the idea of taking...
Okay, so... Okay, so eventually Fluttershy does give in, and they start rounding up the vampire fruit bats. Okay, I gotta love Rarity's quarantine outfit. Wow, I didn't know vampire fruit bats were easily grabbable. So they eventually get all the bats together, and the spell works.
Did it work? Only one way to find out for sure.
Spoiler alert, it works.
I want to thank you for your help. I couldn't have done it without you. Don't mention it, Applejack. It was my pleasure.
And nobody smacks him upside the head for not doing anything. Seriously, why does that always get a free pass? Seriously, that shitting grin makes me want to shove a shotgun up his ass. And yes, nitpickers, I'm still not over it.
Now all we gotta do is sweep up these cores so I can start bucking fresh tomorrow morning.
I smell foreshadowing!
Take two.
And coincidentally, the next day, there still seems to be a problem.
Work. Your darn tooting spell didn't work. I think we're gonna have to take more extreme measures.
I hear you, Applejack. Come on, everybody. Let's track down those vampire bats.
But it turns out that the spell actually did work. So, what exactly happened?
Wait a minute. I don't think these bats are the ones that suck my apples dry.
You don't say!
And if the vampire bats aren't eating your apples, who is?
So,
Well, there's only one way to find out. We'll have to catch whoever it is in the act. And how do you propose we do that? A stakeout.
So now the main six plan to track down the perpetrator at dark time. And it's a pretty...
Just call this off. I'm not sure about the rest of you guys, but I'm really hungry.
What the hell? Okay, admittingly, I was somewhat rather concerned about this, in a good way, because I think I remember before Season 5 came out on DeviantArt, you know, there's like a top, you know how on DeviantArt there are users that have like a picture of like the 10 scariest cartoon episodes they've seen? I kind of put Luna Eclipse in there because it was Halloween themed. But now that I'm rewatching this, before the Cutie Mark list came out, I think I would have put bats on there.
Oh, Fluttershy. It'll be okay. Don't forget, darling. We're all in this together.
That's right. No pony leaves this orchard until we solve this mystery. Agreed? Agreed!
So they're pretty much going to be there all night. But everybody is prepared to bring flashlights and signals.
I got it. Something suspicious. What's it doing?
I'm really amazed that Pinky is able to use her mane to hold the flashlight. Yeah, I should have pointed this out earlier. The later half of this episode is pretty hilarious. Because again, it's Pinky, don't question it.
We'll each patrol our own row of the orchard. Whoever or whatever's destroying my apples has gotta be here somewhere.
And the obvious conclusion is to split up, of course. And I gotta be honest here, every scene here is kind of really suspenseful. And then when Fluttershy goes on her own, this happens.
Oh, juicy and sweet.
So then, while everybody's looking, there seems to be a mysterious figure. They're in the shadows.
Or you'll regret it.
But then when AJ launches her signal, we find out what's been going on.
Applejack, what is it?
Excuse me. So, yeah, as it turns out, Fluttershy has officially turned into a vampire bat phony. A lot of people find it adorable and some find it scary. I'm the more of middle ground, but this was pretty much me the first time I saw it. Okay, maybe it wasn't that much of a reaction, but you get my point. This is probably actually one of the few scariest things this show has done. At the same time, it is adorable, but again, it's adorable and scary. Is there like a word to combine scary and adorable? I don't know. So again, the main 6C, Fluttershy, at the Bat Pony now, and for some reason they think it's an app.
Not Fluttershy. That's Flutterbat. We've got to get her down from there. Fluttershy, sweetness, please come down. And do stop being a vampire bat.
Are you really this blind? You do realize she is a vampire bat, so it's not like... Okay, you know it's... Because really, are you really this blind? Oh, but here's the next part that gets to me. It's when Rainbow tries to persuade her.
Fluttershy, it's me, Rainbow Dash. Why don't you cut the bat ass and come on down?
Do I have to reiterate myself here? Is this...
Stupid! You're so stupid!
And now Fluttershy decides to retaliate.
Maybe we should just let her come down when she's ready.
You think? But it turns out that Fluttershy is really good...
Calm down. See? She's back on her branch. She's just biding her time, waiting for the right moment to pounce.
Pinkie Pie, bats don't eat ponies. Not even vampire bats.
Yeah, I mean, vampires are not known to eat people. They're more than known to suck their blood and turn them into the undead. Hell, I think even Robot Chicken actually used that with the Sesame Street characters.
But maybe vampire ponies eat other ponies.
Again, if Fluttershy was turned into a vampire bat, again, she's basically more like Dracula. Suck your blood, turn you into a zombie. So, it's not really much eating you. And her main is a drill. It's so hilarious. But even still, what exactly happened?
But I don't understand. I think this was actually our fault. Our fault?
Then how'd you figure that?
Oh, by the way, when Twilight tries to explain what's been going on, I love the idea that they basically use like an electronic Tron grid to try to explain it. So apparently, here's what went wrong.
Okay, so this is me, these are the bats, and this is Fluttershy doing her stare. The spell was supposed to go right under the bats, like this. But somehow the spell must have backfired. It took the vampire fruit bat's desire to be vampire fruit bats and transferred that desire into Fluttershy. Come on, we'll reverse the spell and make it right. Then what are we waiting for? Let's save Fluttershy before the cookies fall!
Or turn you into zombies. But apparently it might be difficult because her bat is now moving at supersonic speed and knows how to hide. And over time, Fluttershy turns into a bat more and more.
Oh, Fluttershy, where are you?
Yes? Oh, wait.
Look out!
Yeah, the lighting and the shadows here are really impressive.
Keep this up, your old cross will be gone in no time.
That's the least of my worries. I just want my friend back.
Heck. Yeah, AJ. So, when are those apology cards coming?
We'll never get her back unless we corner her and catch her so I can reverse the spell.
So they try to find her more, but it seems to be more difficult, well, as it is.
If only we had Fluttershy to do her stare on the Flutterbat. That's it.
So they come up with a plan to try to turn Fluttershy back to normal.
Okay, let's get our friend back.
But at the cost of Applejack's prized apple.
So much for having the winning apple in the Appaloosa State Fair, huh?
Or you could say my friend is more important now and there's always next year. That could have been a better use of dialogue. Well, anyways, they used the scent to attract Flutterbat, and they used mirrors to corner her, and they turned her back to normal.
Thank goodness you're okay.
But what happened to me?
You turned into a vampire pony.
I tried to eat ponies?
Do I even have to explain it?
Of course not.
So I wasn't a vampire?
Yeah.
Yes, I was? Well, yes, I wasn't.
Yes, you were.
But I didn't try to eat ponies?
Yeah.
I did?
No.
I'm confused.
Thank you, I was about to say that.
Me too. And I was there.
Or you could have said the short version, Fluttershy, you turn into a vampire bat, and you try to eat every apple in the orchard. How was that hard? And now for our moral of the episode, where they do actually make a
Fluttershy, I'm real sorry I didn't take your suggestion in the first place.
And don't forget, now you'll get seeds that will grow into even bigger and better apple trees.
Does that mean what I think it means?
Rainbow Dash, you seriously need help with your cider business.
Yep. More cider too. Okay, got the part about the smell, Fluttershy turning into a bat, building a sanctuary. Be sure to put in there that I came to see that my short-term solution was a little short-sighted.
And that you shouldn't let any ponies pressure you into doing something you don't think is right. Sometimes you have to tell even your closest friends no.
Now, a lot of people have kind of, nitpicked at this moral, but I'm more inclined to agree that it's a pretty good moral. I can't really explain it, but from my perspective, it was something that happened today at school. Basically, what happens during Color Wars, one of my female friends looked at my iPhone and said, oh, why are you taking pictures? Usually what I do during Color Wars is that I take pictures to, look back upon to see how much our grade has grown. And then she's like, oh, you need to, get permission, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, look, it's none of your business. You're not my mom, you're not my sister, you don't have the right to tell me what to do. So, basically, I kind of told it to some of my other female friends, and they were sort of agreeing it on her side, and basically saying, you need to delete those photos. And I'm like, I'm not deleting those photos, I don't care what you say. So, yeah. So, I can actually really relate to this moral, considering the situation that just happened to me today. And there's a lot of times I actually can really agree, because there are a lot of times that I know there's stuff we're doing wrong, and I just want to tell people, no, it's not right, don't do it. So, for those of you who pinned this moral as being the weakest moral so far, I gotta ask you, you're a real idiot, aren't you? And then by the end of the episode, we get...
How about we celebrate our stronger than ever?
Ugh, God, what is up with Daily Motion?
I want to start it too!
So after they do a little playfulness with people, we actually get a rather disturbing ending, hinting that the spell might have not reversed the effects completely. Since Season 5 is now currently out, I'm 4 episodes in, my guess at some point they're going to bring Flutterbat back, but I think it's more going to be like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde standards, where it'll be Fluttershy by day and Flutterbat by night, but that was me, and that was bad. What I want to say is that a lot of people tend to pin this episode and say that it's really bad or a guilty pleasure, but I'm actually more inclined to defend this episode, and yeah, you know what, screw the haters, this was a good episode. I seriously just don't understand what people find wrong about this episode. The animation was dark and gritty with its lighting, and it was really impressive to look at. And it was very atmospheric and surprisingly intense and a little bit scary from time to time. And it's something that the show hasn't done before. The moral, I feel like along with Sisterhood Social and Apple Family Reunion, it's incredibly underrated. And it's something that I can really identify with. Another thing that I also like about, while Rainbow Dash and AJ's behavior did bother me at the beginning, and Spike's irritating line from earlier, there were a lot of good callbacks, and it was really interesting to see a lot of new ideas brought to the forefront. I'm not sure if I did this episode justice, but I think I did. If you want to understand full details where I'm coming from, go see the Voice of Reason's review, and you can understand where I'm coming from. As a whole, I would give this episode an A-. It would have been A if not for the beginning parts with AJ, Rainbow Dash, and Spike. But it's still a good episode nonetheless. That's an A-. Well, folks, Foot King Gamer, I'll see you guys in Rarity Takes Manhattan. And unlike that certain reviewer that just said, I'm not going to take an eternity to post it out. See you in Rarity Takes Manhattan.